Right everyone, WeaponCollector here. Right, another sword build. So this is going to be another short sword. This one I'm going to try and do like what you'd class as like your traditional knight's sword. There's probably a proper name for that, but you know the image of a knight's sword, double-edged, reasonably big guard that curves up slightly, tapering handle to a sort of round or disc-shaped pommel. So that's what this one will be. So it will be a solid aluminium pommel, which I'm going to fix on slightly different to the traditional methods, potentially keeping this full tang, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be full tang. Handle material I'm not really sure, it'll be some kind of wood, it doesn't really matter. I may even put a leather wrap around it, and then the blade shape will be your traditional blade shape. I've got a quick picture of some quick designs. So that will be the shape of the tip, the guard will be sort of this shape and all that, and yeah, it gives you a general idea. So the first thing I'm going to do is take the handle off, cut the tip off and keep that, you know, make a folding knife out of that, and then shape the tip, and then probably start grinding with an angle grinder or my little belt grinder, a very basic bevel on all sides, ready to shape later. These handles normally come off reasonably easy. Yeah, these come off well enough that you could probably reuse these for all the handles if you wanted to. Not really 100% sure where I'm going to want this guard to be at the minute, but I reckon it's going to be around about here. So I'll probably cut for that now, so I need to cut a little bit off of each edge of here. I either need to cut it or grind it, just a little bit off, so that the guard will have something to stop up against. Because this is going to be a double-edged sword, I sharpened both sides, so I've got to do 4 bevels essentially, you know, one this side, one this side, one this side, one this side. I've done a sort of little jig so I can use some of these. These should do it, if not I've got a grinding disc. So I can grind along, do the bevels, and the piece of wood underneath will keep this sturdy. It's screwed in 2 places so it can't move that way. Clamped in, so this should work, I think. So that's the basic bevels done. Those will be tidied up later. It's just so that it's less work with my little belt grinder, because it takes a lot of work with the belt grinder because it's such a little one. If you do this with the angle grinder, it's a lot quicker. So that's that done. And I'm going to start working on the guard. So it's going to have a brass guard, because that's the biggest, decentest bit of metal I've got, and an aluminium pommel. So I need to mark this so that there's 1.5 inches either side. I'll actually measure that in a minute. Cut the slot for the pommel, and then I think I'm going to taper these tops, and then on the very corners bend it upwards. Fuck, I broke it. Oh well, that was a pity. Yeah, I think the mistake I made there really was when I bent that brass last time, it was much wider. This stuff will seem to bend alright. This one it just cracked. I overdid it basically. Doesn't matter, I'll just have a smaller guard for this one, and then at a later date I'll do another one of these, and I'll either do a steel guard that turns up or shape some brass into that shape. Whatever, it doesn't matter, we'll still be able to do it. So the next thing I'll be working on is the handle and the pommel. So I think I'll probably work out how I want the handle, where I want it to end, and then start cutting the pommel. I've got some walnut scales here that should be big enough, I think. I'll mark them just over. Yeah, if I cut that down the middle, both of those should be alright. It does seem to be one of them days. So the walnut's no good, so I've gone back to my old good, always works, the wood from my front door. So I need to put the piece of leather on the front here. These bolts, I have to mod them. So what I have to do, I have to put these little screws on, push them back the other way, cut it off and do it like a rivet. So I'll do that now. If you want to see me doing that, I'll do that in other videos. You know, it's just riveting it over, put a washer over, peen it over. So the next thing you'll see me do is shaping the handle, and then I'll start working on the pommel. Yeah, definitely one of them days today. So I've got a little bit of a split here, but I think I'm gonna probably, it's quite a thin handle anyway, I think I'm probably gonna wrap that with leather. I also broke the bloody mount on my camera, so yeah, it's one of them days. So I'm gonna cut this out now. This will be the pommel, and then once that's done I need to drill a slot in it so that that can slot in. Hopefully it goes alright. I imagine it's probably going to be difficult though. So I'll probably just cut this out with a hacksaw roughly and then put it on the little belt sander. You just need to cut the corners off now and then gradually round it and gradually make it round. While it was still square, I decided to drill the holes for the slot. So hopefully now I should be able to chisel in between those drill holes and create a slot. We'll see. This may be really difficult. It might be easy. I don't normally do it this way. The problem is you can't really get the screwdriver in too deep and there's nowhere to push it out to, but I'm just going to have to keep doing it. Keep filing around the corners, get a rough circle, won't take long. Right, I'm getting there. This isn't finished, but just thought I'd show you the progress. So this build's been a bit of a pain in the arse. It's one of those days where nothing seems to work properly. I can't find stuff like that, but I've got the pommel on, that's nice and secure. That is riveted on. I missed that bit. The handle scales are solid anyway, but because I think it looked better, I'm going to cut some of that thin leather I've got, wrap it round like a, you know, like a wrap. I'm going to cut it in like fins, like one long thin strip, wrap it round and dye it black. So I think that's what I'll do next. I'll wrap the handle. Right, let's see how this goes. Right, this is very rough. You can see where it's cut. Some of it has got quite tight turns in it, so it's going to kink up a little bit, but you know, I'll give it a go. I've wet it, and yeah, there isn't a lot more I can really do. So let's try it. I may have to take this back off as well if it's if it's no good. I don't reckon I'm going to have enough on it, so I may have to undo it because it is long enough. Definitely, it was long enough before. Just managing to hide all these shitty little kinks and stuff at the minute. Did you just sort of pull it up? Right, so the handle is wrapped. It's wrapped under this tape for now to hold it really tight. Hopefully that should dry really solid, and then I can put some black dye on it. So all I really need to do now is finish off the blade. So this will just be grinding the edge to an actual edge, because this isn't actually sharp at the minute, and then taking off the black paint, which I'll just do with some acetone. Right, that's the edge getting there. I'm going to get the paint off now before I do it properly. Hopefully this should come off alright. Just have to soak it in the acetone for a bit and that should start to come off. Right, so this is the progress so far, and yeah, I'm really happy with it. It's about 9, half 9 I think, so I better stop really. But I'm going to carry on the video and you will get to see me making the scabbard for this as well, which will be made out of just scrap wood. The handle, I changed the idea slightly, and I don't know about you, but I think that looks really good. And do you know what that is? Brown electrical tape with some black leather dye rubbed over it, and it gives it a sort of aged leather look. And in all honesty, I think this would hold up much better than that leather wrap anyway. That leather wrap was literally just wrapped round, no glue, no nothing, so it would probably come off eventually. So this gives it a lot more strength, but still gives it the exact same feel as the leather. So it's nice and grippy, you can feel the ridges, and I think it looks good in all honesty. I wasn't sure at first, but when I put that the black dye on it and rubbed it in, and it sort of come off on parts and not on others, I think that actually, to the naked eye, that actually looks like leather. Looks like a leather wrap. Yeah, overall very happy with it. This has been a right pain in the arse to do this one. I don't know why, it's just one of those days nothing seemed to want to go right. The guard broke, the original handle split. Doing the slit for this took about 2 hours. Some of the rivets bent, but yeah, overall though now it's very solid. There's not a bit of movement in any part of it, so yeah, it's rock solid. So yeah, so the next part of the video you'll see the scabbard being made. Right, now we've got the two sides. I'll show you this quickly, it's the easiest way. Yeah, there's a lot of work in doing this, but you'll get a nice result in the end. What I do now, most of this I do as I go along anyway, is offer the wood up. Depending on how thick your guard is, I may have this one sticking out ever so slightly, because that'll be quite thin. I now need to thin this wood down to about that thickness. Right, if I can get this cut really good, I only need to use one part of this. I'll try my best to cut by hand straight down the middle of this piece of wood, and that will do it for both sides, so I didn't need the other bit. So this can be oversized for now while we glue it together. So what I need to do now is cut the groove for the blade to sit in. Right, so that's both the grooves done. I've checked it, the sword goes in and out fine. What I'm going to do now is, to make the sword go in easier, I'm going to take a file, taper these sides out a little bit. well you'll see this, but it's sort of tapered out so that when you go to put the sword in, this will be open a bit more. I can start shaping this a little bit now, so I'm going to mark where the blade is in here. Might go a little bit further out than that. Until I get the desired shape that I want. Right, so that's the essential shape of the scabbard done. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for the sort of ends and that. For this one I might do a leather wrap at the top. It won't be blue, it'll be black. So black leather strap at the top like that. Maybe some kind of shaped leather down the bottom. See, I think that would look quite good. Something sort of like almost like a teardrop type shape down the bottom, made of leather, black leather, with some kind of belt loop somewhere. I might do one sort of in the middle, so a strap here, like a thing there, and then the wood will be brown. There you go, another little short sword. This one's sort of got a sort of medieval look to it, little bit medieval, little bit Roman, I think. Done the little bits of leather both sides. I'll add a belt bit later on, but yeah, I'm very happy with that. So that's the scabbard. There's the actual blade. Got a little bit of staining on here. Sometimes under this paint you get these sort of stains that you can't seem to get off. There's probably a bit of sort of rust, but it doesn't really matter. Adds a bit of sort of character to it. So yeah, there you go. I'm very happy with that really. Handle, quite nice. And again, quite a lot of the stuff in this isn't what I planned, but certainly, you know, came out alright. So what I'll do now is I'll do the pictures and some HD video, one or the other, and then in a second part I'm going to give this a sharpen, because it's sharp enough already, but I want it sharper. Give this a bit more of a sharpen, and then we'll do some bottle cutting, show what it can do. This has got a nice double edge, so should be able to perform quite well without having to keep turning the sword. So yeah, there it is. I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to watch the rest. See you later.